Right here with Coach Wesley Tankersley, head coach of the Gilmer Bobcats, the football program, and you're here at the passing camp today and the lineman challenge. Talk about just a little bit about what you guys are doing here today and what you hope to get accomplished.
Well, this is our it's an FCA event, so one of the biggest things we're trying to accomplish is, get the Word of God out there a little bit. That's one thing that the FCA tries to accomplish through this. Teach kids about sportsmanship, teach kids about commitment and good behavior, that sort of thing. And so, that's one reason they hold the event for us. It's an event for us to come out and compete and kind of get together. This is our first real event of the football off season, summertime. So far we've just been working out, during the week, getting some football stuff done. But many times, especially in June, you got baseball going on, you got wrestling going on, you got basketball going on, and there's a lot of things going on for the kids. So it's hard to get a lot of continuity during June. But towards the end of June, some of those other sports are kind of calming down a little bit, and then once we get in July, that's when we really get full go into what we're doing in the off season. July the 7th, we actually go to a camp over at Northwest Whitfield for 4 days with about 6 or 7 schools there, it's a defensive camp, but we'll also work offense and defense, and that'll be our full team. And then after that, every week we'll have 2 or 3 events each week, whether it be 7-on-7 or other camps that we'll go to until we get to the end of July, and then the end of July is when official practices start. But June is kind of a time for us to work on our weights a little bit, and then towards the end of it, we try to get together and get some continuity going, some learning, teaching going on today, especially for us in the passing game. That's not something we do too terribly much, but we do want to be effective with our passing game, and we showed that last year. But this is a chance for us to work on our passing game a little bit and work on our defensive coverages. We've got a lot of changes on our team this year in the secondary, and a lot of changes at running back just with graduation, and we're trying to get some kids some playing time and some action so they can get some live action and get some experience before we get into pads and that sort of thing. And it also helps out with conditioning. It's a big conditioning thing for you. Instead of kids having to get out here and run sprints and that sort of thing, they're running routes and doing football activities. So it's a big event for us, and we've come here to this FCA event for the last 3 years, and it's always a good event.
Now, Coach, obviously you said you guys are an option team, and you want to work on your passing a bit, but obviously you run the ball more. Yeah. Talk a little bit about what it is you specifically in the passing game, without giving too much away. What is it that you look for when you come to things like this, knowing ahead of time that you're working on the secondary part of your offense?
Yeah. Well, we're working on reads mainly, teaching the quarterbacks who they would read in the defense, and what pass they would make off of that, which player they might throw it to, especially linebacker secondary wise, reading the linebackers according to what play it is, and if the linebacker reacts a certain way, you try to throw it to the other person. There's a number of different things there. Mainly for us, we're a pretty big play action team, and that's a little bit hard to do out here because they know you're going to pass it. But we try to work on some of those plays as well, and work on our timing, routes, those sorts of things. We really try to focus more on being precise in routes and timing and things like that during this time of year.
Now, and last question here. You said you work on the conditioning. It's a fun way to condition with the summer heat, and with it's a problem. Kids are dying on the football field, especially. Talk a little bit about how you plan on doing something for the heat before you have to worry about something bad happening.
Well, this is the time that we are acclimating ourselves to the heat conditions. Right now we'll have helmets on and it's hot out here, but we're trying to acclimate ourselves to the pad situation. Most of the time when in high school sports and in any sports, when they have problems with heat-related issues, is when they're in pads. You might have cramps, that sort of thing, when we're in these situations, but for the most part, it's when you're in pad situations, and we try to use this as a chance to acclimate the kids to heat and to running in the heat and being in the heat a little bit. And that's one reason. That's another great reason for doing these things, is to acclimate them for what's about to happen in July and August when it gets even hotter, and then you got pads on. It's a big thing. We bring Gatorade with us to this. We bring water. I mean, we try to make sure that the kids are hydrated at all times during these events. And when we have any breaks, we're just constantly preaching to them, get water in their system, get water in your system.
All right, thank you very much, Coach.
Hey, I appreciate